Hey, 8th graders, welcome to this explainer. Imagine, just for a second, that you're building an awesome new video game or a cool app, and you want to display a welcome message to your users. But there's a catch. You have to display it 100 times. Think about how you'd actually do that. Would you sit there and manually type out that exact same message 100 times in a row? You'd be typing print, quote, welcome to Python, end quote. Then again, print, welcome to Python, and again, print, welcome to Python. Writing this out manually over and over again is totally exhausting. It's completely impractical, and let's be honest, it's incredibly boring. There just has to be a better way to tell the computer to do all this heavy lifting for us. Well, that better way is exactly what we call a loop. Let's dive into this. A loop is a programming structure that repeatedly executes a block of code until a specific condition is met or all items are processed. Seriously, think of this as your new coding superpower. Loops reduce repetitive code, they save you massive amounts of time, and they make your program shorter and so much easier to maintain. So, that brings us to a really great question. How do we tell the computer exactly how many times to repeat something? If we know we want that welcome message printed exactly 100 times, or maybe just exactly 5 times, what tool do we use? Let's introduce the very first tool in your new superpower tool belt. We call it the for loop. We use this specifically when we already know exactly how many times a task needs to run. Let's look at the syntax here. This is the actual grammar we use to write the code. It goes exactly like this. For, variable, in sequence, followed by a colon. Then, on the next indented line, you write your statements. When Python reads this, it takes one item at a time from your sequence, stores it right there in that variable, and then runs the block of code for each item.
Let's see this in action so you can connect the code to what it actually does. If we write for in range 5, colon, and then on the next line print, welcome to Python, we are giving the computer a direct instruction. We are telling Python, for a range of 5 times, print this message. And boom, look at the output. With just 2 short lines of code, we generate 5 perfectly stacked lines of text. This tiny block is the shortcut that replaces all that endless manual typing. Let's see how this builds, because for loops aren't just for counting numbers. They can also step through sequences like text. Look at this code. First line, word equals Python. Next line, for letter in word, colon. And underneath that, print letter. Because we loop through the string, Python grabs one single character at a time, resulting in P, Y, T, H, O, N, all stacked vertically in the output. How cool is that? But wait a minute. What if we actually don't know exactly how many times the loop should run in advance? Maybe we want a video game to keep running until a player loses all their health, or we want a program to keep asking a question until the user types the correct password. For situations like that, we need a totally different kind of loop. Enter the while loop. The syntax here is pretty straightforward. It's simply while condition, colon, followed by your indented statements on the next line. A while loop keeps executing the statements inside of it as long as the given condition remains true. The exact moment that condition becomes false, the loop stops. Let's slow down the logic for a second and walk through how the computer's brain actually processes this. Step 1, we set a variable. Let's say count equals 1. Step 2, the brain checks the condition. Is count less than or equal to 5? Well, 1 is less than 5, so that's true. Step 3, it executes the code, printing the number. And then, this is the most important part, it adds 1 to the count. Now the count is 2, and the computer's brain goes right back to step 2 to check the condition again. And it repeats until the condition eventually becomes false. Let's tie those exact steps directly to the code on your screen. First line, count equals 1. Next line, while count is less than or equal to 5, colon. Next line, print, count. And finally, count plus equals 1. Because we update the count each time by adding 1 to it, the output perfectly prints 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Once that count becomes 6, the loop sees that 6 is not less than or equal to 5, the condition becomes false, and it simply stops. But this brings us to a very dangerous trap that literally every coder falls into at least once. What in the world is an infinite loop? Look really closely at this code snippet. Count equals 1. Next line, while count is less than or equal to 5, colon. Next line, print count. Do you notice what's missing here? There is absolutely no line to update the count. Because count is always 1, it will always be less than 5. The condition never ever becomes false, which means this code will run forever, printing the number 1 endlessly until your computer just crashes. Always remember to update your loop variable.
All right, let's shift gears back to our for loop and look at a built-in Python tool called the range function. The range function generates sequences of numbers. On the left side of your screen, we have for I in range 5, colon. Next line, print I. Notice the output is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. The default starting value in Python is always 0. Now look on the right. We give it a start and a stop number. For I in range 3, 8, colon. Next line, print I. The output is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It starts at 3, but notice how it stops right before the 8? And this brilliantly illustrates how incredibly flexible range can be when we add a third argument to it. We call this the step. Look at the left side. For I in range 2, 11, 2, colon. Next line, print I. That last 2 tells Python to skip count by 2s, giving us an output of 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. On the right side, we do a reverse countdown. For I in range 10, 0, -1, colon, print I. A step of -1 counts backwards, outputting 10, 9, 8, all the way down to 1. Now that you can run loops, you really need to know how to control them while they're actually running. First up is the break statement. Imagine searching for a specific friend in a crowded classroom. You check desk by desk, but as soon as you find them, you immediately stop searching and you leave. That is exactly what the break statement does to a loop.
Here we have a loop that is supposed to go from 1 to 10. The code says for number in range 1, 11, colon. But inside we have a rule. If number equals 6, colon. Next line, break. Look what happens to the output. We only get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The loop completely terminates as soon as the value hits 6. The numbers after 6 are never printed because that break command forces an immediate exit.
The second control tool is the continue statement. Think of a teacher checking attendance from a student list. If one student is absent, the teacher doesn't just throw away the whole list and stop reading. They simply skip that one absent student and continue calling the remaining names. That is exactly how the continue statement works. Let's look at the code. For a number in range 1, 6, colon. Inside, we tell Python, if number equals 3, colon. Next line, continue. Then print number. Check out the output, 1, 2, 4, 5. Notice anything missing? The number 3. Python skipped the print statement for that single iteration because of the continue command, but it went right back to finish the rest of the loop for 4 and 5. So the absolutely crucial point here is understanding the difference between the two. Let's look at them side by side. Break stops the entire loop immediately. Any remaining iterations never execute. Continue, on the other hand, skips only the current iteration. The remaining iterations continue normally. Never confuse stopping entirely with just skipping once. Let's put everything we've learned together into one practical super loop. We want to loop through numbers 1 to 20 using for number in range 1, 21, but we use continue to skip multiples of 3, and we use break to stop completely when the number hits 15. Look at the output. The code outputs 1, 2, it skips 3, it prints 4, 5, it skips 6. It keeps going, skipping those multiples of 3 until it hits 13, 14, and then completely stops at 15. This is true programming power right here. Now you might be wondering, why does this actually matter in the real world? Well, professional programmers use loops every single day. They use them for displaying database records on websites, reading thousands of lines from a file in milliseconds, processing huge student lists, creating the logic loops in your favorite video games and animations, and automating massive data analysis tasks. Let's do a quick superpower summary of your brand new skills. A loop repeats code. A for loop is used for known sequences. A while loop runs until a condition is false. The range function generates number sequences. Break completely exits a loop, and continue skips a single iteration. Mastering these concepts makes your code cleaner and massively more efficient. But I want to leave you with a final thought to ponder. Now that you know how to automate all these repetitive tasks, your code files are going to get bigger and bigger. How do you organize all this awesome code into clean blocks so you can reuse it whenever you want without retyping the loops? Well, that exciting answer lies in our next explainer, Python functions. Keep coding, keep